Today I'll be talking about US Mobile on the GSM 5G side, which is powered by T-Mobile. I'll go over some of the benefits and some of the holdups. I'll tell you also what my overall experience was testing the account on the data, call quality, and overall experience. Let's get into it. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Everton, and I've been testing US Mobile for the last couple months on the GSM 5G side, and it's actually my last day today on the second month, and I'm kind of glad that I took that amount of time because talking about a service, there are so many variables that it really takes a long time to analyze your service. So I'm going to talk about that today and give you some differences that I feel will impact your decision on which side you should choose, especially if you have decent service on both sides. And just a heads up, there is a link in the description. It's my affiliate link. If you click on that, it will help the channel and it costs you nothing. US Mobile does offer Warp 5G, which is provided by Verizon service and their infrastructure. It really gives you all the ability to go all the way up to millimeter wave. It's really pretty good. I've had it before. I did a video about it before. On the T-Mobile side, I actually do like it as well. T-Mobile is a little bit different though because they offer same exact plan when it comes to the amount of data, but they don't have priority data, nor do they use up to their millimeter wave. So T-Mobile offers something called ultra capacity. That's kind of their branding. You don't have access to that. You have access to mid-band 5G. Now, think about that is that mid-band 5G is really fast. It is. It has a lot of capacity and it stretches amongst a lot of places where you can get that really fast speed. But once again, you don't get up to the millimeter wave where you're getting like 3 gigabytes a second or 2.5 gigabytes per second the way you can get with Warp 5G. So there's that, and there is no priority data. Now, essentially, over the last few months, I really haven't had an issue with priority data until recently where I saw maybe the need that certain places do need it. I live in San Antonio, Texas. I've lived here for the past like 4 years, but recently the city has been growing and I live right next to a very popular like place. And sometimes I go there to pick up food and I'll be in the drive-through line and my service has been impacted while using the GSM 5G side of it. So that is something to keep in mind that, based on your population of where you live, the services can get impacted by deprioritization. It does get so impacted that you may not be able to really use it like at all during that time that you're over there. It is noticeable. So I did start out with the starter unlimited, which gives you 35 gigabytes of data. Now you do have another like unlimited premium, which gives you 100 gigabytes of data. I don't need that much because I do test a lot of services and do use multiple services, so I never really need that much data. But I want to talk about essentially how the data performance works. So when I was actually utilizing the data, I ran a couple speed tests and it was actually really good. But speed tests only tell me so much. But I do want to say that T-Mobile has been seeming to increase their capacity for data. I've never been able to get speeds like this before, and I was really happy and pleasant with that. Now, I do have another carrier that uses T-Mobile's infrastructure, which is Mint Mobile, and I also did run a speed test with Mint Mobile, and I saw that, hey, like this was getting similar speeds that Mint Mobile would get. Also, when I ran a side-by-side speed comparison or speed test, it did show that there was no real prioritization given over Mint Mobile to US Mobile's GSM 5G. They pretty much ran within the same like capacity of splitting the coverage versus one being prioritized over the other. So that also does mean though that, like I said, if T-Mobile, a core T-Mobile customer that uses their base service wants to use a service, then you can be deprioritized. Now, the service, after you do run out of data, you do have the ability to top up to get additional high-speed data. And you can get about, I believe for $10, you get 5 gigabytes of extra data. But if you're not in a position where you want to top up, the service actually runs at about 1 megabyte per second, which is about enough to stream about 480 on YouTube and things like that. And you can still use the internet. It just won't be blazing fast. It'll just be, kind of slow speed, but not sluggish to the point where it's frustrating. But I do want to talk about some of my experiences when I was using the data. So speed tests are, in my opinion, only half of the story. The full story is how you're going to use the data. When I was streaming data on YouTube and, media sites, I liked that US Mobile didn't seem to interfere with the amount of resolution that I wanted to stream. There are other services where you may have super fast data. It can support 4K on 10 different devices, but at the same time, when you try to stream YouTube, all of a sudden your resolution is at standard resolution. A few companies do this. US Mobile did not seem to do this in my experience. If I was able to stream 4K, I got 4K speeds and 4K performance. And I was a really big fan of that. Oftentimes it would actually lean towards 720 if it was automatically choosing the resolution, but I could bump it up to 2K, 4K, or 1080. Now, call quality was decent. I'm not going to say it's amazing. I have had better experiences. For 90% of the time, there is no issue with having, calls. Once in a while, I had a person say, hey, would you say repeat that? And sometimes it depends on the area that you're in. I can't tie it down as if you had to say that it's necessarily the service itself, or if I'm on Wi-Fi calling. A lot of times I am home, but I've called other people from different carriers on the Verizon side of things, and they're like, yeah, man, you sound a lot better. So I mean, yeah, the call service works fine. Once in a while, I ran into a couple of zones where people were struggling to hear me. Now, speaking about some of the perks of the service, US Mobile has an unrivaled dashboard, in my opinion. And when it comes to comparing them across other like prepaid or MVNOs, their data analytics is really great. I've been used to this because I used to have T-Mobile, and they had a bunch of call records of how you used your data. It would tell you what days, how much you use what, and the average. And yes, it's a nice to have feature. It's not a necessity, but I was thinking about the fact today that if I had a family plan that I have my daughter on or another family member on, you just wanted to keep a track on that to make sure that they either have enough, or if you want to limit your like family member's screen time because maybe your kid's not supposed to be on the tablet that much. This gives you the visibility over that. But this is something that US Mobile has put a lot of effort into, so I'm really glad that it's here. Beyond the data analytics, their dashboard is really intuitive, and it gives you a lot of options so that you don't have to contact customer service to reach out for help. You can really control majority of the things about the plan through the dashboard. But speaking about having to contact customer service, they do have a customer service phone number which is available 24 hours, 7 days a week, which is great because, hey, we all might need help with our phone service at different times. So I like the option that they do have that. Now, I personally haven't had to call customer service because the data dashboard is so good and the service itself is good, so didn't really have a problem with that. Now, there are some things that I do want to talk about regarding like US Mobile as a whole. So a couple things, they do have a couple features that are always seem to be coming soon. They're in development, which is good because there always are, looks like they're improving the plan, but there's no real date of implementation that gets put out there. Secondly, they have changed the price since the last time that I've come onto the service. The first time that I went on there, I paid $25 for 1 month. Now it did go up to $29 for 1 month. Now, it doesn't seem as if this is a price change that impacted anything. I mean, like I don't feel like I'm paying for anything extra. I'm getting the same exact service. It feels more like an incentive to go with a multi-line plan or to pay annually. So, they make 1 month extra more expensive, but if you paid for, a whole year, then it's a lot more incentivized for me because I can get it for cheaper, or if I add additional lines, then the price gets automatically cheaper. And I'm one of these people that feels like, hey, if you're gonna sell me 4 apples for $4, which means each apple is $1, then I should be able to buy 1 apple for $1. That's just a personal thing, but you can definitely tell that it's an incentive for them or for you to purchase more lines. Now, would I recommend it? Actually, yeah. I mean, I don't think I've even ran into a service that is really bad on the prepaid side, but there are some things to think about. The fact that you don't have priority data. So where you live and the population, and if you're in a lot of congested areas, will matter if you go on the GSM 5G side. If you did choose to go with US Mobile and you're in an area that is congested, I would see if the Work 5G side works for you, if you have good Verizon coverage over there, only because of the fact that once it gets congested, you won't be suffering from deprioritization. And in my experience, the deprioritization is heavy-handed. Secondly, if you have international concerns where you have family members that you want to contact overseas and things like that, and it's just a lot easier for you, then this comes with a lot more international options, whereas the Work 5G doesn't support that at the moment. Overall, I actually am a fan of the US Mobile on the GSM 5G side. The service performs to the capacity that you have. So if you have a lot of data, you don't have a lot of buffering, you don't have a lot of slowdowns. You don't have a lot of restrictions with what you can do with your data when it comes to the video performance side, online gameplay, and things like that. But once again, it can deprioritize, so just be clear about that. And also, call quality is better on the Warp 5G side. Other than that, I actually think the service is really good. Definitely, there's a link in the description. It's my affiliate link. If you do want to check out US Mobile, definitely click on the link. It definitely helps out myself and the channel, and it costs you nothing. But at the end of the day, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll definitely respond to it. And until next time, I'm Everton, and I do videos Everton's way. Peace.